Hi guys, so it's time for the second part of my Bookish Christmas holiday gift guide. And like I mentioned in the first of these videos, which hopefully you've seen, if not I'll link down below, my second part is actually going to be entirely dedicated to children's books. So for those of you looking for bookish gifts for children in your life, then hopefully there will be something here for you. But if you're looking for just more general bookish gift ideas, then go check out my other video if you haven't seen it already. I have a selection of books that kind of range from like the 3-year-old to the 12-year-old, so hopefully there's something in here for lots of you, but I'm just going to pick things up as I come to them and talk to you about them a little bit. So the first suggestion I have as a bookish gift for children this Christmas or whatever holiday you're celebrating is these Roald Dahl books. Roald Dahl is a must for any child. Your childhood is not complete if you have not read some Roald Dahl. It is so fantastic. And they currently publish Roald Dahl in some really gorgeous little hardbacks that look like this, which I own 2 of. The first being my all-time favourite, The Fantastic Mr. Fox, and also Revolting Rhymes, both of which are illustrated by Quentin Blake. I think if you had quite a few of these would make an absolutely beautiful set, but I also just think they're a really nicely published version of the originals with the original illustrations. I think if you know a child that is yet to experience the wonders of Roald Dahl, then these are worth checking out. And my next is another favourite from my own childhood, and that is the complete nonsense poetry of Edward Lear. Now, I adored the nonsense poetry of Edward Lear as a child. In particular, The Owl and the Pussycat was one of my absolute favourite poems by him. And this is a new edition published by Faber this year, so I had to mention it in this video because it's really adorable and the poetry in here is absolutely phenomenal. It's so fun and whimsical and silly and would make any child chuckle, and I think children's poetry is a really great way to engage with children in reading because you can read it out loud and it just sounds so much fun. Silent poetry, especially for children, can be quite an interactive experience, so I would highly recommend this as a gift. Now next I want to mention the gorgeous publishers of children's books that is Thames and Hudson. Now I did an entire video dedicated to some beautiful Thames and Hudson books and I'll link that down below, but I'm going to briefly show you those books again in this video because I think they would just make absolutely stunning Christmas presents because they're so beautifully constructed. For starters, we have That's My Hat, which is just an absolutely gorgeous pop-up book which looks like this. They're kind of unlike any other children's books I've seen anyway, and I think they're just so beautifully crafted and published. And this one's almost like a little Where's Wally, where you have to find the monkey who's stolen the little boy's hat in each page amongst the pop-outs. And then this one is What's Hidden in the Woods, which is one of my favourites, and you can see me playing around with this a little bit more detail in my other video, but it basically, each page comes with a red, a yellow and a blue layer. You use these little coloured magnifying glasses to reveal different layers of the picture. Obviously it's kind of difficult to show you on camera, but it is so gorgeous, really beautiful and really interactive. This one is possibly the most interactive children's book out there, and that is The Sleeping Beauty Theatre, which is actually a pop-out paper theatre for children. So it pops out like this and it is so much more than simply a book. It is an entire little theatre with removable scenery, a whole section of other scenes and things like that in the back here, as well as little figures and props, and also a little script of Sleeping Beauty to go along with the play so that children can kind of act it out in this little play, read the story but as well be the story and engage with the story, but you can also kind of create your own story with the little props in here. And I just think this would be the most marvellous Christmas gift for a child. But speaking of beautifully published children's books, I had to mention The Fox and the Star by Coralie Bickford Smith, which came out this year. And Coralie Bickford Smith is the illustrator of the Penguin Clothbound Classics, and she has illustrated this gorgeous children's book, and the illustrations are really what makes this book. It is so gorgeous, and really not just for children. This was actually a gift to me from my friends, and this is what some of the illustrations look like. Look at that, look at that, look at that. How beautiful is this book? And it is a lovely story as well. But of course an excellent way to go is Christmas themed books for children at Christmas time if you are celebrating Christmas. I have a few here that I requested from Anderson Press and they were kind enough to send me, including The Polar Express, which was made into film and is a really classic story, beautifully illustrated. This one's got slightly more text than some of the other children's books I have here. That's what some of the illustrations look like. And then one that really strikes a chord with me, as it was one of my favourite children's book series as a little kid, and that is Elmer's Christmas. I was a massive fan of Elmer the elephant when I was a child, and Elmer the elephant definitely teaches kids about accepting others that don't look like you, and this is the Christmas edition of Elmer. That's some of the books there. There's Elmer. And I absolutely loved Elmer as a kid, so I think Elmer's Christmas would be an excellent one to go for. And another one published by Anderson Press that caught my eye is The Snow Beast by Chris Judge. This one's a hardback one, and this is what it looks like inside. Look at the Snow Beast. Really cute. And another couple that aren't specifically Christmas themed, but I just thought were so stunning that I wanted to feature in this video as suggestions for children's books because I think they really stand out. And one is The Moon Dragon, which I'm sure is no surprise to you, as I love dragons. So children's books about dragons, I'm all about that. And this has just got some really beautiful illustrations. This is my favourite page, I think. It's a little girl and the dragons there. And all of these are relatively recent releases, if not reissues, so that means they're less likely to already own them, which I think obviously is worth taking into consideration when buying children's books, especially if it's a child that's not your child, maybe like a godchild or a niece or a nephew or a friend's child. And the last one I have is so cute, and it is the Zoomer's Handbook, and this is our hardback one, and it's about weird creatures. This is a handbook for Zoomers, and look at some of these creatures. Like, what child's imagination would not absolutely adore this book? Isn't it fantastic? Look at that beast, look at him. I really like this one, I think it's super duper pretty. And the last book I have to hand to show you is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the illustrated edition. This was actually in my other gift guide, so sorry about that. But I think this is the perfect opportunity to introduce a whole new generation to Harry Potter, with the illustrated editions now coming out annually and biannually as they get into the longer books, with illustrations by Jim Kay. It means children can really engage with a similar feeling to what I feel like I had as a kid, which was waiting for the release of the new books every year. So if you know a child that has not read Harry Potter and you feel it is time for them to begin their Harry Potter journey, I think it is worth investing in this gorgeous illustrated edition of the first in the series, which, I mean, how can you resist these illustrations? Isn't this just what you imagined Hagrid's hut to look like? So beautiful. I adore this. I am so happy with this possession. I did want to mention one final book which I don't actually have a physical copy of, but it is a children's book called Refuge, and I will obviously link it down below and pop a picture in here. But it is a new release and it uses the traditional story of Christmas to talk to children about refugees. And I think it's such an important topic, such an important message, and some of the money you spend on the book then goes to charity to help refugee children. So I think that that is an excellent Christmas present to buy anybody, regardless of whether they're a child, because you're giving somebody else a Christmas present at the same time, as well as spreading a wonderful message and getting a beautiful children's book. So like I said, I will link that one along with everything else down below, because I wanted to mention it even though I don't have a physical copy. I hope you found some of these suggestions helpful. I just really wanted to do a children's gift guide this year, and I hope you all have a really wonderful holiday season this year. And until next time guys, happy reading. I'll see you all again soon. Bye!